we're big time here. So the question is, if you don't own the trademark, do you own it? And that's what we're about to explore right now. My name is Ed Howie, and this is Howie Grow a Brand.
1, 2, 3,
If you like what you learned from this video, help us promote this channel by clicking the like button below and subscribing to our channel, Howie Grow a Brand. Ready to go? Let's get into today's chat. Tom Ladegaard, welcome to Howie Grow a Brand.
Thank you for having me.
So Tom, tell our community about not just what you do, but who you are, because you're a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, well, who I am is not limited to what I do. So my name is Tom Ladegaard, and I live in San Diego County. I'm a father of 2. I'm an avid cook and guitar player, and I also happen to be a business lawyer. And I'm in my 18th year of practice, and I'm also a failed business owner as well. So I'm a business attorney who was in business. Well, I am in business running my own law practice, but I had another side hustle I ran with a few years ago as well, where I learned so many lessons.
I tell you, I've had a lot of wins, but I've had some misses too. And you know what? I didn't request the misses, but they do make the wins better moving forward.
Well, they sure make you a lot wiser, don't they?
They do. It's like, not doing that again. So we're not going to talk about business partners right now. We're going to talk about trademarks. All right. So, okay. So it's kind of funny. We're both in the branding business, right? I mean, we really are about identity and owning it, and how the identity is consequential and an essential asset to your business. So can you explain what a trademark is and what a trademark does?
This is exactly where we should start. So a trademark, what it does is it gives you nationwide exclusivity for your branding. Ultimately, a trademark is it means that your name, your logo, your tagline, your artwork, the public associates that mark with your company and within its business classification. By getting a federal trademark registration, you get nationwide exclusivity where no one else in the entire country can use a same or similar mark in the same or similar business classification as you.
So it's basically the things that are distinctly yours, and you want to keep them distinctly yours by protecting them, so that if someone tries to mimic or steal or confuse, that you've got protection. Is that a way to?
Yeah, I would say it is protection. I mean, it can be a shield or a sword. You can use it either way, but by having it, you're protecting yourself from someone potentially coming along and hitting you with a cease and desist, because you have the trademark already yourself. So you're protecting yourself from other people trying to steal your mark, or from other people trying to knock you off the mountain that you're on. And so if you already have the trademark registration, a federal court will create a presumption about the validity of your mark.
Okay.
The courts will assume that.
Okay.
So, or if you find someone else is infringing your mark, you can use it as a sword. Then you can go to them with a cease and desist and demand that they stop using the name. If you don't have that registration, your threat is rather toothless. And so you have more remedies at your disposal by having that.
Okay, so we have a lot of people in our community. They're entrepreneurs. We have a lot of people that aren't, but that work for businesses and brands. We have a lot of people who are starting businesses, who are starting some side hustles, or who have had their business for 10, 15, 20, 40 years. When should I invest in trademarking my brand? Let's just say the name of my company. When should I trademark it?
Excellent question. You want to trademark it yesterday.
Why?
You want to do it as early as possible in your entrepreneurial journey. You don't want to be in a situation where you're 3 years in and you've invested tens of thousands of dollars in your marketing and your branding. You got your website up, you got your business cards printed, etc. And everyone associates you with that brand. And then you get hit with a cease and desist letter. Or then finally you get around to thinking about doing it, and then you find out your name's taken by someone who got in there before you.
Wow.
Then you got to start over. And as you know, rebranding means you're effectively starting over. If you're having to get a new name anyways, not just like a color scheme rebranding.
Right.
But if you have to give yourself a new name, you're starting over because now the public has no association between your company and this new brand. And so it's critical that you do it at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey. And you can lock down a trademark or at least get the process started before you're even using the mark.
Wow. Okay. So I started my company 18 years ago. Last week, we're into year 19. And the original company was Brand True because we've always believed the most powerful brand is the brands that tell the truth. Imagine that. And so Brand True, this is 2003. I checked for domains that was available. I had actually figured out how to do a quick search on USPTO, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Okay. But, I only had a little bit of cash and I wanted to spend it on getting my first clients to bring in cash. So I never went around to getting it trademarked until about 3 years into it. And what we discovered is there was a business consulting firm called True Brand. And so the counsel I was given, this is before I knew you, the counsel I was given was how badly do you want to fight it, invest it, or do you want to shift your identity because you're going to have to spend money either way versus, and even though I had been using it, like I had the website since 2003 and their mark was 2004, the deal is I was still a small firm. I did not have like national recognition. And so I actually chose at that point to shift to a more trademarkable name. And we changed the name of the enterprise from Brand True to Brandtricity, which was the name that we had used for about 9 years. It was more unique. It was a little too unique because you had to spell it, that kind of stuff. But so your counsel to me in 2003 would have been, of all the things you have to spend money on, go ahead and go down the path of getting it trademarked, right?
Yeah, I would tell you that the money you would spend on that trademark, it's free because of the problems that can result with the money that you're going to spend on the branding and potential legal fees and legal disputes. What you would spend for actually getting that trademark is nothing. It's pennies compared to what it could cost you to not get that trademark. So that's kind of my sales pitch when I talk to people. My services are free compared to the value you get and the risks that you avoid by investing that money.
Okay, so let's talk about evidence and specimens. So for companies just starting out, we're going to launch Ed's Popcorn or Ed's Cereal, Ed's Frosted Flakes, whatever. When is it too early? Like what kind of specimens do I have to even file?
It depends on whether you are a product or a service. So Ed Howie, the branding consultant, the specimens are your advertising materials. Okay, let me back up. For services, the specimens are your advertising materials, your promotional materials. For goods, the specimen has to be your mark on the goods themselves or on the packaging.
Wow.
And you have to show it's actually for sale. So for you as a branding consultant, I can go to your website, and what I do is I look for the mark and a description of your service on the same page. I screenshot that, and then I submit that to the USPTO. That's a specimen for a service. Now for your cereal side hustle, I'd get pictures of your packaging.
Okay. And then does that product have to be on the shelf, or does it have to just be can it be in manufacturing? Do I have to have had a transaction for it to be a product?
For the specimen itself, you just need to show the product itself. Okay. So for goods, you just need to show the product. Okay. Now, there are times where I've done website screenshots for goods, and then the PTO wants to see a buy link. They want to show like it's actually people can put it in a cart and buy it.
Okay, interesting. So, so services or goods are the two lanes, correct? All right. Wow. Okay.
And that influences what kind of specimen you need to submit.
Okay, so a couple questions as we're kind of going into this. This is great. Is there anything foundational that I didn't really talk about, that we didn't talk about before we get into some of these questions?
Well, you need to, with the underlying issue with the specimens serve a purpose. You need to prove to the USPTO that you're using the mark in commerce.
Okay.
Meaning you're selling your product or your service. It's out there available for consumers to buy from you. But you don't have to be using it to apply. So there's another procedure called intent to use. So let's say you are contemplating this. I want to launch. I'm still building out my website. I'm still getting my ducks in a row, etc. But I really need to lock down this name. And so this happens all the time where I'm talking to someone, I'm doing a consult, the website's not live yet. They're just in the planning stage. We're still talking about forming their LLC. And so what I'll say to them is like, how far off are you from having a website live? Because your website doesn't have to be pretty. It can be ugly. But as long as it shows your market and describes what you do and people can contact you and buy from you, that's good enough. And I don't care how ugly it is, you can fix it up later. Okay. What a conversation I have with people is, I can wait a week or two till your website's up and then we can go then. Or if that's a ways out, let's say, I don't know, 3 months out, you just started hiring a web designer, that's a ways out. Let's do an intent to use application. We submit an application minus the specimen. Once you go through the whole application process and you get what's called a notice of allowance, you then have a 6-month window to submit specimens. Once you get it approved, the date of registration, it relates back to the date of the application.
Okay.
So you can get a trademark locked down for a mark you're not even using yet.
So, folks, this is why we're talking to Tom, okay? Because the very first not the first conversation, because we had talked several times, because you have helped us, not only us directly, but in full candor, several of our brands that we support in getting trademarks. Tom's thoroughness, his candor, but most importantly, what his demonstrated empathy, your understanding of the plight of the isolated entrepreneur or the independent brand leader who's trying to get all this stuff done. The candor of, hey, good idea, bad idea. That wisdom is oftentimes free, but it's oftentimes so much more consequential because you're not about just churning hours. You're about helping entrepreneurs, right?
And this is why it's so important that you use a human being. I mean, you can file a trademark for yourself. You don't need a lawyer. I don't recommend it. But a lot of people, they will use a company online whose name rhymes with doom. And doom will take your money.
Yeah, for sure.
They won't they won't run a search and check for the viability or availability of your name. They'll just take your money. And then you're going to get denied because they're going to find your name. It's not distinctive enough or there's a conflict. So the value I bring is I will give you an analysis before I've taken $1 of your money. I consider it part of my initial consultation. I'm on the phone with someone. We're talking about their mark. The first thing I do is I jump on TESS, which is a trademark electronic search system. That's the USPTO's official database. During the consultation, I get on there and I check it out and I look for any obvious conflicts because I don't want to take someone's money and then turn around and say, I'm sorry, your name's no good. That's part of my consultation.
Love it. Love it. And what's great about it is if you subscribe to edhowie.com, we can connect you directly with Tom, and he is more than happy to set up a consultation with you to talk about your trademark needs, which is pretty cool and a very gracious offer on your part. How can people get in touch with you, Tom?
Through my website, Ladegaard Law. Hopefully we'll put it in the description of the video, and
we'll help with the spelling.
Yeah, there we go. And I'll give a free 15-minute consultation with any of your listeners, and I will run their name through the database, and I will be a straight shooter and tell them what they don't want to hear if that's required.
And most importantly, if there's a path, you can get to the path of protection, which is what every brand needs. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you grow and protect your brand. Tom, always good visiting with you.
Pleasure as well.
See ya. I hope this helps and inspires your day. If any of this works on your business this week, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, or please message me directly. Can't wait to see what we chat about on the next episode. We'll see you soon.